If you are wanting to build and create your dream life, you need to keep watching this video. I feel like you've clicked on this video for a reason, so stick around while I talk you through the habits and tips that I have and how I created my personal dream life over the years, and tips and habits that I think will help you to do the same. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. A little bit of a different video for me. I'm doing like a full-on sit-down video, and I'm gonna just talk you through everything that I have done over the past few years to build and create my personal dream life. I am currently 22 years old and have put in a lot of work, I'm not gonna lie, to get to where I am now. You know, I'm living in my dream apartment in Manchester, and the amount of opportunities and the crazy opportunities that I get doing this job is crazy to me, and something that I could have only ever dreamed of. Like, younger Mia would literally be screaming, crying, throwing up if she saw what older Mia was doing now, and she thinks she was pretty cool. And I think honestly that is the main thing, like making your younger self proud. I feel like that is just such a big thing for me, and honestly a big driving factor in my career, and to just think where I came from and how I started, and you know what I've built for myself from scratch. Like, it honestly makes me so proud when I really sit and think about it, and I want you guys to do the same and feel the same and be able to do what I have done. And you know, if I can do it, you can definitely do it. I just think that I would have loved a video like this when I was younger, as a little bit of a helping hand to maybe get myself on track and to just give me a little bit of inspiration and motivation to be able to gain the dream life that I've always dreamed of having. A lot of these things are just general things that might seem very obvious, but just things that have sort of altered my brain chemistry and just altered the way that I view life and perceive life and take things day by day. Doing some of these things has really just changed my way of thinking, and I really do think that I am a completely different person than I was even like 2 to 3 years ago. And I really do think that it's down to some of these things and implementing some of these things daily. I'm really making them a priority, because I feel like if you are stuck in the same mindset and you are staying the same your whole entire life, your life is probably going to stay the same. You're not going to progress. And absolutely fine if you are completely happy with your current life, but if you are somebody that is wanting to progress and wanting to constantly take it to the next level and just elevate your life, I feel like you do just need to change as a person, and that is completely normal. And that's not to say that, like, you know, you completely change who you are, but I think a lot of internal changes happen, especially in your early 20s, which definitely change your view of life and your perspective of life. And I also think that the things that you want and your dream life and the things that you desire definitely change as you get older as well. And I have just definitely matured more over the last couple of years, which has definitely also helped me, you know, build this life and make certain decisions. And I just want to also share with you guys, because I get asked all the time, like, you know, how have you got to where you are today from where you were at such a young age? And if I can just help just one person, just get things in motion to, you know, start manifesting the dream life that you want, that'll make me happy. So I have created a list here of things that I have implemented myself personally, and things that, you know, I would recommend everybody to do, really. It's not, a lot of them are not daily things, they're just general life things that I would recommend to implement more often, like over time in your life. So the first thing, we'll just get straight into it. So the first one would be to create a goal list, no matter how unrealistic you think those goals are, whether you think they are achievable or not. Write them down, because I had some, what I thought at the time were unattainable and unachievable goals, but you know, I've gone ahead and achieved them. And I really, really do think that it's so important to speak things like this into existence, and to also actually picture what your dream life looks like, so you actually have a vision to work towards every single day. Obviously that's going to be completely different with every single person. Like, everybody's dream life looks different, but what your personal dream life looks like, envision that. Maybe create a Pinterest board, write down what, you know, things, what it looks like. For example, a high-rise apartment, it could be a specific car. Obviously a lot of these things are very, you know, physical and materialistic. However, it could be things like get into a like consistent positive mental headspace daily, you know, journaling every day, eating healthy every day. This could be what your dream life looks like. As I say, it's different for everyone, and that could be as materialistic and as non-materialistic as you want it to be. You know, it could be having a certain bag, you know, whatever you want, whatever you think exists in your dream life and in your future self's life. Write everything down, because honestly, even just checking back on it in a few years will be crazy, because whether you've achieved it or not, it can realign you with what you are wanting to achieve, or you could have already achieved it and just look back and think, wow, like that's absolutely crazy. You know, I did that for myself and I'm proud of myself. And the other day I actually came across one of my old journals from like even just 2 years ago, so not like really long ago, and I'd basically achieved everything that I put on that goal list. And it was just crazy to look back on that a version of myself in the past had written down these things, you know, not knowing if I was going to achieve them or not, and to be able to have achieved them is just such an amazing feeling. And it just really is like a full circle moment, and just really does make you feel proud of yourself and motivates you, and yeah, just motivates and inspires you to create even more goals, to check back on those in the future and hopefully tick them off as well. But yeah, honestly, I'm a firm believer in no goal is too unrealistic. Like, I think that anybody can achieve anything they set their mind to, and you know, whatever it takes for you to get there is on you and what you are willing to do to achieve that. But I really do think that no goals are unrealistic. Write them down. There's literally no harm in writing these crazy goals down, I promise you, and the only thing that it's going to do is motivate you to reach them. Like, there's literally no harm is going to happen if you write down the most unrealistic goal ever. Like, nobody's going to see them, it's just for yourself, and just go for it. Write everything down that you want to achieve in your life, and it'll motivate you more than you know. The next thing I would do would be create a daily schedule that will lead you to your dream life. So for example, think about what your future self's dream life would look like. For example, would that be you waking up at 5 a.m, doing a certain class, going to the gym? What would your daily schedule look like? Try and actually implement that and do that daily, and you know, act like the person that you want to become. Act like the person that has this dream life, because there's no point being super negative, thinking you'll never get there, not even acting remotely similar to the way that you would act in your dream life. This all sounds very like, you know, talking in riddles. It sounds like it's just very, you know, not real, but I feel like you really do have to fake it till you make it. I'm a firm believer in that as well. Faking it till you make it, honestly, it will do wonders, because you can actually trick yourself into thinking that you are already living this life. Honestly, we need to be delusional. Like, you need to act already like you have this dream life, and I think that's a form of manifestation in itself, acting in a way that you would act in your dream life, because you are putting it out into the universe and you are bringing yourself one step closer to that life that you want to live. Now, this next point is a huge one, and it's so important to me, and something that I say to anybody that says, you know, how do I get into content? I'm scared of getting into content. I'm scared of filming. I'm scared of filming in public. I'm scared of what other people think. The next point is to not care what other people think. This is actually probably the most important point on this list. You can literally do anything you want and act any certain way that you want if you don't care what others think about you. Like, you are so powerful if you do not care about what anybody thinks. Like, if I sort of get the vibe from somebody that they don't care what anybody else thinks, I'm like, yeah, like, you are confident. Like, I feel like there's just a certain aura about somebody that really just does not care what anybody thinks, and that they are super self-confident in themselves. And even if that means that you have to fake that self-confidence, do that, because I do that a lot of the time, and it's definitely easier said than done. The way that I'm saying this, it comes with time, but I think, as I've mentioned previously, faking it till you make it is so important. And the same goes with like self-confidence. Like, with my job, I go to, you know, a lot of events with a lot of people there, and sometimes, you know, maybe I'm feeling a little bit anxious, or I am feeling a little bit self-conscious, but if you know, fake feeling confident, you fake it, honestly, people will believe that, and they would never know that you don't feel confident. And as I said, it's a lot easier said than done, but over time, I feel like I've definitely learned to master, you know, faking self-confidence sometimes when I don't feel so confident. And I just think that you the one thing that you should not do in this life, which is very short by the way, is not let people's opinions dictate your actions. Like, you shouldn't let somebody else's opinion or judgment change the way that you live your life, or, you know, adapt to the way that you live your life. You should live your life absolutely the way that you want to and act the way that you want to, without, you know, taking into consideration other people's judgment. Obviously, to a certain extent, you know, like, you should be nice to people, but I'm talking about in terms of judgment from people that's unprecedented and unasked for. Like, that judgment from strangers should not be what is holding you back from living the life that you want to live and doing things that you want to do. For example, you know, you might really want to start filming in the gym, but you're too scared of other people's, you know, judgment and opinion. And I honestly, just my biggest piece of advice is just do it. Obviously, don't be, you know, in people's way in the gym and things. And if it's a really busy gym, maybe, you know, consider switching or adapting things, but without bothering other people in the gym. Obviously, go for it. Like, just do it. If somebody is looking at you, like, honestly, a lot of the time in the past with me, a lot of the time, if somebody has been looking at me, I have obviously instantly thought, like, oh my gosh, they're judging me, like, they're thinking that I'm, you know, an idiot for filming. But then sometimes they come up to me and say, like, oh, what are you filming for? And, like, they're just genuinely curious. And I think that we, as humans, are so quick to assume the worst with people and assume that they're assuming the worst, when that's not always the case. But again, as I said, you shouldn't let somebody's maybe negative thought about you change the way you act. You know, just do you. If it makes you happy, do it. And this also leads me on to my next point as well, which is to stop comparing yourself. I cannot explain enough how comparing yourself to other people, other people's lives, other people's appearances, other people's income, other people's jobs, all of that is going to take away from you being able to pour into yourself and work on yourself. And I just think that it's so important to just focus on you, stay in your own lane, and do whatever you have to do to get to where you want to be, to achieve your dream life. Don't get me wrong, use people as, you know, motivation, inspiration. Like, you probably look up to certain people, like everybody does. I look up to certain people, whether that be, you know, the life that they're living, how they look, blah, blah, blah. Everybody looks up to certain people for a different reason, and I absolutely encourage everybody to look up to people for inspiration. But if you find that you looking at them is making you look at yourself negatively, unfollow that person, or, you know, just maybe mute them, because anything that is going to make you look at yourself in a negative way and reflect in a negative way is only going to be bad for your mental health and, you know, stunt the progression in your self-growth and your self-confidence. And comparison really is the thief of joy. Like, somebody else doing really well is not taking away from you doing well, and it doesn't mean that you're not doing well just because somebody else is doing well. Whereas I think as humans, you see somebody else doing something or achieving certain things, and then you instantly compare it to yourself and think, well, I'm not doing that, like, I haven't achieved that yet, blah, blah, blah. Whereas, like, somebody else doing well should not be an area for you to also criticize yourself. It should just be a way for inspiration and motivation for you in your own life. But absolutely do not use somebody else as a way to negatively talk about yourself. And if it is, mute that person or don't interact with that person. My next point would be to push yourself out of your comfort zone and do uncomfortable things. I cannot express to you enough how much this can grow you as a person and, again, lead you to your dream life. Like, I just genuinely don't believe that never going out of your comfort zone, never doing uncomfortable things, never taking leaps and doing things is ever going to lead you to this amazing life that you want to live. Don't get me wrong, if you already live, you know, your dream life, that's absolutely fine. But, you know, if you are wanting to work your way up, that normally consists of doing uncomfortable things, making uncomfortable decisions, and change is uncomfortable, but sometimes it is necessary. For example, I moved out of my hometown to move to Manchester 2 years ago, and my hometown is like just over an hour away. But, you know, it was me moving out of my family home at 20 years old and not knowing what was going to happen or, like, you know, what was going to become of it. But if I never moved out, I wouldn't have grown as much as a person. I wouldn't have been able to progress in my career as much as I have done. I wouldn't have been able to increase my income. I don't think I would have. Obviously, you'd never know, but I really don't think that I would have been able to progress in general as much as I have over the last 2 years, and I'm a firm believer in that. And as much as it was, you know, an uncomfortable decision at first and a little bit scary, obviously because, you know, I was young and I was leaving my family, it was the best thing that I ever did. Like, if you have been contemplating, you know, making that move or making a certain decision that's scary, like maybe leaving a certain job that you are not happy in, this is your sign to do that and take that leap. And honestly, more often than not, you won't regret it, and it will lead to so much like personal growth and progress that you won't even know until you reflect back and look back at your older self and think, wow, like I have come so far. And I'm so proud of myself for making that move 2 years ago, because as I said, I would not have progressed into the person that I am today without doing that. Journaling and manifesting. This is also a big point. Again, journaling is sort of like my second point, where I talked about creating a daily schedule that will lead you to your dream life and basically just acting the same way as you would in your dream life, and creating a similar schedule to what you think your future self would be utilizing. And I think that writing down your current thoughts, feelings, where you're currently at in your life is really, really important. It might not seem like it in the moment, but when you look back on that, let me just tell you, that will be such a pivotal moment for you to be able to see how far you've come and be proud of yourself. Like, when I wrote down some certain goals a couple of years ago, I didn't think to myself, oh my God, I wonder what I'm going to think in 2 years. Like, I was just genuinely writing them down, brain dumping, and 2 years later, I just found this journal and I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even, you know, I couldn't remember writing these down, and I didn't intend to look back on them. You know, I hadn't set a certain date to look back on it. I just found it, and then it was just a bit of a crazy moment. And I just urge everybody to write down anything, goals, how you're currently feeling, just journaling anything, and just where you're at in your life. For example, say you've just gone through a really bad breakup. You know, you're probably feeling really sad, really emotional, just really in a shitty place. Think about what yourself in 2-3 years time, you probably won't even remember that time in your life that well, and you'll just look back and see how much progress you've made mentally and just where you are at in your life. You'll think, wow, like, you know, that was sort of not irrelevant, but that was just a point in your life that you progressed from, and you grew from that and learned a lot of lessons from it. And yeah, I just think it's so important to write things down. I personally use my That Girl journal to write anything down. I feel like this is a journal and a productivity planner in one. So let me just show you the daily planner page. Here you can write down your daily schedule. There's a section where you can write down what you're grateful for, with also some evening reflection. And I just genuinely think that it's sort of like a productivity planner and journal in one. And even just looking back at, you know, some of the things that I wrote down a couple of months ago, seeing where I was at is just crazy to it's just nice to look back on and just see how you're progressing and how you're getting on. But there's a daily section, a weekly section, and a monthly section in here. So I feel like you can just genuinely write everything down in here. This is my own brand, but genuinely, I use this every single day, and it helps so much with my productivity, my organisation, and yeah, I just love it. I just write everything down in here. We are currently running 20% off the productivity planner, so if you want to grab yourself one, the link is in my description. But honestly, I love this planner and journal so much, and I use it daily. The next thing would be to take time for yourself to avoid burnout. You are not going to be able to do the things it takes to get to your dream life and build your dream life if you are constantly burnt out. Now, you could be burnt out from a number of different things. I think it's just so important to take time for you and for just self-care, however that may look for you. That could be, you know, going on a daily walk by yourself. It could be having a bath. It could be doing a face mask. It could be just cooking yourself a nice meal. It could literally be anything, taking yourself to the cinema. Whatever is self-care to you, make sure that you take time to prioritize that, whether that be daily or weekly. I really do think that prioritizing and investing in self-care is super important, and something that I am really making more of an effort to do this year to avoid burnout and just avoid overworking myself and just having that self-love and just being kind to myself. Because that way as well, when I do utilize self-care, that is when I feel like my most motivated, my most ready to work, and my most creative as well. Exercise and eat well daily. Now, this might seem very, self-explanatory and like, how is that tying into building your dream life? But for me personally, eating well and training every single day, well, not training every single day, but eating well every single day and training 5 times a week, but exercising daily, makes me feel my best, most confident self. It boosts my mood and my productivity, boosts my energy levels, it boosts my endorphins, which in turn makes me work better and also feel more motivated to achieve that dream life. And I just honestly think that it's so important to exercise every day. However that may look for you, that could be going to the gym, lifting weights, it could be going for a run, it could be going to a Pilates class. I just think that everybody should be utilising exercise and moving their bodies every single day, because the knock-on effect it has is crazy. And my life has gotten so much better and more positive, and I feel my best self ever since I started exercising 6 years ago. And I cannot imagine my life without it. I feel like I kind of just feel like a spare part. It's such a big part of my life, and it affects my mood a lot. And as I said, it boosts my productivity. Like, I cannot even explain to you how much it has transformed my life, and how much it's transformed thousands of other people's lives. The same with eating well as well. Like, when I'm eating good, nutritious, whole foods diet, I feel my best. I feel my best from the inside out. I think that is just so important in turn, like building your dream life, because it boosts so much that you don't even realize that, you just think that, you're eating healthier, blah, blah, blah. But over the years, it has a knock-on effect that will just impact your life for the better in a much, much, much more positive way than, if you are eating unhealthy foods, you're eating very low quality foods, you're never exercising, your daily movement is very, very low. Like, it's definitely going to have a long-term negative impact on your life as opposed to a long-term positive impact. Okay, that is all of the points that I have to speak about and habits that I personally did to lead me to my personal dream life. As I said, I just want to reiterate that everybody's dream life looks different, and that's not to say as well that this is my end point where I'm at now. Like, this was my dream life for a long, long time when I was younger, and I'm just so happy with where I'm at now. I'm proud of myself, but obviously I'm always striving for more, and I'm excited for what the future holds for me. And I feel like as well, it's normal for your dream life to change and adapt as the years go on, and that is completely fine and completely normal. And you're not going to have one straight same goal your whole life. Like, that's quite unlikely, and it's likely to change over the course of your life depending on what happens. But these are just some like habits and tips that I would implement to be able to get you to where you want to be, because I feel like things are very, very unlikely to just fall into your lap without you doing anything to spur the process along. I really do think that it is up to you what your life looks like, and the power is literally in your hands, and you can do everything you can to just try and reach that dream life. You can speak it into existence, and it will come to you at some point. And I just also think that everything happens for a reason as well. So no matter how bad your life may look right now, there's definitely a reason for that, and there's definitely a lesson to be learned in that. And just know that bad times don't last forever. Your life is going to improve, things are going to improve for you, and it's also just doing what you can to be able to make that happen for yourself. And I'm also not naive to the fact that I am so lucky with where I'm at in my life and everything that I have achieved. And although I am very, very lucky, there's also a lot of my hard work and time that has gone into being able to live this life that I live now. And don't get me wrong, I love my life so much. I love where I'm at right now, but as I said, there's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes that I don't post because it's a little bit boring, but I just don't want it to also seem, when you look at my page or anything, that you know, I don't really do anything, it just sort of like has fallen into my lap. That's absolutely not the case. And I really do think that if you want to be somewhere in life, you need to put in the work for it. You need to work hard. And yeah, everything will happen when it is meant to happen. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little bit of a different one for me, but let me know if you liked it and you want me to create more videos like this. And also, if you're wondering about this set, this is new Honor Active, dropping on, I think it's dropping on Tuesday the 17th. Yeah, Tuesday the 17th. So by the time you're watching this, I upload it on Sunday the 15th. So in 2 days time, this set, along with a lot of cute new other stuff, is going live on the Honor Active website. My support link is in the description if you do want to support me, and you can also use code MIA, I'll put it on the screen, and that will give you some money off your order. But honestly, this set, with my drink right now and my phone, if this is not me in a set, I don't know what is. But yeah, this capsule is called the Always in Honor drop, and we have, let me actually just show you, some fold over straight legs. These are the infamous soft motion straight legs, and they're coming in a fold over version. They're coming in this chalk pink, and then I think that's it for the fold over straight legs, but we also have some fold over shorts coming as well in black, I believe, which are unreal. And this is also a new vest, which is so nice, which is in the soft motion fabric. This entire drop is in soft motion fabric, I believe, which is just my absolute favorite. But yeah, if you do choose to support me, thank you so much. Please let me know if you do so that I can thank you. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video.